Hello everyone, in this video I'll be going over 8 money tips that any teenager can really benefit from. As a teenager, you're in a really strong position as you have so much time to build strong habits and time is on your side. I help you avoid making these silly mistakes by giving you these money tips. Number 1, understand the power of time. So right now you probably don't have a lot of money, but you have time on your side. And let me just give you an example real quick of something you can do with your money. So let's say at the end of your summer job, you have $1,000 to invest. You invest it at a return rate of 5%. You don't contribute another cent for 50 years. At the end of those 50 years, you'll have $11,467.40. If you did the same thing but only had 30 years to let it grow, you'd only have $4,321.94 at the end. Of course, you'll invest much more than just $1,000, but just imagine the power you have, because that $1,000 turned into $11,000. So imagine if you had $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 and just kept on adding money to that fund, your money would be growing exponentially. Time is rarely on our side, but at a young age, investing is the best thing you can do. Number 2, start a money saving habit. I'm assuming you've been brushing your teeth for a very long time now, and it's not something you really think about. It's just what you do when you wake up and what you do when you go to bed. The power of habit is almost just as strong as the power of time with money. If you start your money saving habit right now, it'll just stay with you for the rest of your life. So whenever you get a gift, allowance, Christmas money, birthday money, just always save a portion of it and put it aside. Putting at least half of it would be great right now because you probably don't have that many expenses, so you can afford to do that. And the older you get, the more expenses you have, so it just gets harder to save. But if you start that habit now, when you're older, you'll make it a priority to save your money. Number 3, track your expenses. And this might be hard as a teenager because you're probably doing these odd jobs and you're getting paid in cash, and cash is so hard to track. But if you have a part-time job or you're working full-time, that won't be an issue. So there's a bunch of apps or websites online that helps you track your money. I would recommend using Fudget because instead of having a credit card connected to your account, you just put in the amount that you spend or make manually. Or if you don't want to have an app with you all the time, you can always just write it down on a piece of paper. It's also very important to establish a relationship with a bank. It's so tempting to spend money when you have all your life savings in an envelope that you can just pick out of. As well, in a bank, your money's protected. Plus, in 15 years, if you need a loan for a house, it'll be really helpful that you'll already have a track record with a bank. Be sure to research different bank offers. Make sure you're not paying any annual fees or maintenance fees for your bank account because you're doing the bank a favor and they're not doing you a favor. So if you don't already have a bank account, take all the cash that you have to a bank and create a checking account and a savings account. A good rule of thumb is just to put half of the money you make into checkings and half of the money you make into savings. It's important to separate your money because if all of your money's in one account, usually the money you're saving gets mixed up with the money you're spending and you don't know which is which anymore. Number 4, get educated. For myself, I didn't get any personal finance education at school, and I'm assuming you haven't as well. The more you know about money, the less you're tied to a job working for someone else or just buying random stuff. Online, you can find everything and anything related to personal finance, and whether you're a teen or you're 50 and have been investing for 30 years now, there's always something new that you can learn and all the information is there. So if you still live with your parents and you're a teen, why not just ask your parents about tips? So many people leave their home without having a clue what to do with their money and how to make it useful to them. Doesn't mean you have to be in your parents' bank accounts, but just asking them general tips and things you should look out for in the future. So if you're struggling to bring this up with your parents and you just don't know how to, I would recommend just asking a simple open-ended question like, what's the best money advice you could give me? Parents love giving advice, and with that, you could easily get into a deeper conversation about money. Number 5, make smart decisions with university or college. A smart decision about university or college can be not attending it at all, delaying it for a few years until you have enough money to pay for it. It really depends on what you want to do and what your situation is. A smart decision could also be attending a local college for 2 years and then transferring to a more prestigious school. It could be applying for every scholarship or grant you can apply for. So if you've decided to go to college, another smart decision is to pick something that you're actually going to get paid for. Majoring in history or literature won't bring you far in life because they don't pay well. And just taking out tens of thousands of dollars in loans just for a degree in something that you're not going to get paid for is a bad financial decision. And with all that debt, you're just going to be crippling yourself for the rest of your life, so it's not going to be worth it. It'll just push back your life even further. You'll have to wait before buying your first house. You'll have to wait before you can afford having kids. It'll just push everything back. Overall, university or college is a great decision as long as it won't put you in financial trouble for the rest of your life. Number 6, establish a credit history. So I've already talked about this in a previous video that I'll have linked in the description, but I'll be talking about it differently in this video. Ideally, your parents would help you build your credit before you leave home. Just handing an 18-year-old a credit card is just a recipe for disaster. So it's better if the process starts at home because you're not on your own and your parents can help you if you have questions. Also, another option is to get your parents to add you on their credit card. You don't need your own credit card or anything, but if your name is on their file, you'll start building credit without even having to spend any money. Once you have a credit file, make sure to get into the habit of checking your credit score often. Credit Karma is a free website that you can use to just check your credit score whenever you want, and make sure you understand what makes up a credit score. And make sure to always pay your bills on time, because if you don't, it'll really affect your credit score. So if you have a good credit score, it'll help you in so many aspects of your life. It'll make life simpler and easier, because once you'll want a mortgage, you won't have to convince the bank that you're trustworthy. You'll just have proof that you are. Number 7, avoid FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out. And it's easy to think that everyone else is having so much fun, especially when you're a teenager, but sometimes they really are. And no matter how young or old you are, that's always going to be true. What's important though is to not give up what you want most for what you want right now. What you want now is to take all the money you made during your summer job and go on spring break. But what you want most is to graduate debt-free, or to be able to retire at 40 instead of 65, or to be able to quit your job if you don't like it and you have an emergency fund that'll let you do that. And if you're going to college, what's most important is to graduate debt-free. It might not seem like it as a teen, but trust me, in time, you'll understand why you have to do this. Number 8, sell random stuff laying around your house. I'm sure everyone can relate to this because we all have those things just laying around our house that are just collecting dust. Right now, I'm selling my PS4 on Facebook Marketplace, and I've had experience with this in the past, but you can really sell anything you want. You can start selling on eBay or Etsy or Poshmark. You can just list anything online or locally and just get rid of it and get extra money for it. I would recommend going with eBay because the process is relatively simple. In a previous video, I go over how to list your first item, but there's a bunch of YouTube tutorials that'll teach you how to list up your first item. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you and I really appreciate it. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope you implement a few tips that I covered in the video. The biggest part of personal finance is to really be smart with your money, not wasting it on temporary things that you won't have in the future. Spending on temporary things will seem fun at first, but will really just be a waste of money in the future. So really the biggest thing of personal finance is just to have the right mindset of where you make it a habit to save your money and track your expenses and not waste your money on pointless stuff. As simple as it may seem, this will have the biggest impact on your whole life.